Welcome to a new episode of the MabsArts podcast. Today is a wonderful day, and you are listening to my podcast. So that is very awesome, and I am quite grateful for it. I am your host, Antonio Mabs, and today we are going to be talking about 4 ways we can follow through with our goals and take our success to a whole new level. Often, we make plans that we do not follow through on. For example, we recently discussed resolutions for the new year and how to write them. However, it is known that many people actually never follow through on their goals and end up doing and being the same person they were before they wrote down their resolutions. That's why here are 4 tips we can implement into our goal making and completing process in order to have a bigger chance of finishing what we start. Number 1. Don't bite more than you can chew. A lot of people write goals that are just too big. Things like, I will be a millionaire, I will run every day for 1 year, and I will write 3 books this year, are simply too big for someone that has no habit in place for this kind of activities. When we write down our goals, it is important to be realistic and reasonable with what we want. This will allow us to adjust as we go and actually stand a chance of completing the goals we have in our minds. Let's take for example one of our unreasonable goals and turn it into something more reasonable. For someone that wants to be a millionaire, perhaps the first step in the journey is to determine their financial status. If you want $1 million, work out the statistics of how much money you make in a year, what you spend, and where you spend it at. This researching process will help you see where you are standing in relation to where you would like to be. Once you have those numbers ready, use that to inform your goal. So for example, instead of your goal being, I want to be a millionaire, you can figure out an amount that will get you closer to that first million. A more reasonable goal would be something like, I will increase my annual revenue by 15%, with the percent being something that is reasonable and relative to the amount of money you are currently making and the time you can spend adding energy to this goal. Tip number 2. Prepare yourself for completing your goal. It is a bit dumb to think that we can just write something down and expect to have it materialize instantly. This is something not a lot of people seem to understand. It is not enough to write down, I want to learn to surf. This is because the statement will not actually help you learn to surf. You gotta do the work. You need to sit down and watch YouTube videos of other people doing it. You need to get in good shape, and you need to take up those swimming classes at your local pool. This is what preparing yourself means. Now, do not fall into the trap of making the preparation the goal. Sometimes we can do this. We are so scared of failing that we spend our whole lives preparing and never actually doing it. No, that's not the right way. The right way is to do both things at the same time. You need to go to those swimming classes and watch those YouTube videos, but you also need to apply the knowledge you are cultivating. So pick up your board and head to the beach and catch some waves. Sure, you will fall down, and you will fail at first, but the combined efforts of your preparation will push you to your goal and help you succeed in ways you've never thought possible. Prepare for your goal, prepare for success. Tip number 3. Build a habit. Sometimes people make the resolution of going to the gym every day or going for a run every morning, and after 1 or 2 tries, they end up never doing it again. And that goal they set turns to ashes and dust almost as quickly as it was written down. This is because it is very rare for people to pick up a whole new routine of life from day one and stick to it. This goes back to biting more than you can chew. As soon as you do that, you are more than likely to not stick with your goal. Instead, you can work up to that goal of going every day. Instead of making your goal go to the gym every day, try to go at least once a month for the first 3 months. Then up the time to twice a month for the next 2 months. And then up it again to 3 times a week, and keep upping the amount of times you go every couple of weeks until you are going to the gym every day. This method of habit building is much easier to stick to, and since the hardest times of any habit is the beginning, and you're starting slow, you will have no excuse to not fulfill those goals you set up for yourself. I remember that when I started exercising, which was not a lot, still is not a lot, what I would do was literally set my goal to 1 mile a week. And I would wake up in the early morning, get dressed for running, and then just head out for a short walk the first couple of days. This started building the habit inside me, and every day I would extend my walks by a couple more minutes, until eventually this constant act of slowly increasing my distance ended up with me being able to run 2 miles a day for a number of months. So start small and work your way up. The last tip, and one of the most important, is to be kind to yourself. To close out the podcast, I need to remind you of one final tip. Be kind to yourself. Accomplishing goals is hard, especially when you are trying to do completely new things that you've never done before. Be kind to yourself. It's important that you do not let yourself become your worst enemy. It's easy to feel discouraged and start telling yourself things like, I'm not worth it, or I suck because I didn't work on my goal today, or I quit, I can't do this. But you need to stick to your goals. You need to be kind to yourself in the way you talk to yourself about your failures, and you need to be kind to the people around you that tell you how you're doing or how you're not doing. You need to be kind. You cannot be the person stopping you from your own greatness. Sometimes it is best to walk away for a bit and then come back feeling refreshed and energized, rather than quitting something altogether. Because if you quit, you will never know how far you could have gone if you stuck with it, and how your life could have changed for the positive had you held tight to your dreams. Compassion starts with yourself. I hope you are able to finish all the goals you had set out for yourself this year, and may you succeed in more ways than one. May these goals you accomplish set you on a path of higher and deeper prosperity. I was your host, Antonio Mabs, and this was another episode of the MabsArts podcast. Have a great day, and I will see you later. Namaste. I love you. This was a podcast produced by MabsArts.